Good day, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Patriot and Lama show with me, Jimmie Schwinn, and Master Lama, Rasaji. We're so thankful and grateful for all of you coming here today. We love you all. We got an exciting episode today for you, episode 36. Three and six is 9. Master Lama Rasaji said before we got on here, he said, Jimmie, your number, because it's funny when you run my name in the thing that my son Tommy does, it comes out with all these 9s, right? So really exciting things going on. Today, the episode is called The Veil of the Conscious Mind. So make sure that you're spreading this out. This is Facebook friendly. It's YouTube friendly. There's going to be no problem with that. Okay. We do that intentionally, not because some people say, well, you should just know. No, we're not going to get kicked off of there. We want, that's a big a pond of brothers and sisters that we want to bring the truth to, and we want to bring them to be the best that they've been. I see we've got some folks that are part of the family already, of the Circle of Life, done the 45-day challenge. Make sure you let everybody know in the comments what the 45-day challenge is doing for you in your life. And the best thing out of everything is free. So it's amazing what we're getting testimonial-wise. We're so grateful to Abba, the creator of all things, in King Yahushua, his son. And again, we're not going to get into religions here. You know, we love all people. We love the creator. We love his son. We love his spirit. And we're not going to judge. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to give you the truth. We're going to give you our love. And hopefully you're going to feel the energy that is coming from us through Abba, through us into you, and into him, from him into you. This is going to be, I got a feeling this is going to be one heck of an episode. So make sure, again, that you get it out to all of your brothers and sisters out there, your family, your friends, whether it's here live today or share it when it's done and the recording's there, because it's important, okay? So, Master Lama Rasaji, how you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing fine, Patriot Jimmie. I'm really excited about the subject matter. People get to hear today the real story of the Great Awakening, so I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, we got so many people out there, you know, the false prophets that talk all this stuff about 5D and Great Awakening. They have no understanding at all about any of that. And, you know, one of the things I had my brother from another mother, Genius Steve, my partner in Bodyline. And if you folks want to know about Bodyline, go over to Rasaji.com and click on wellness and go to energy wellness. And you can see an unbelievable video between Genius Steve and Master Lama Rasaji. But he was here with me for a day and a half. And I mean, I was talking about, you know, dojos, and, you know, in my dojo, I'm the sensei. But in your dojo, I'm the student. And in my dojo, you're the student. So important that people come to, you know, whether it's this show or any other show or any other training or any, you know, coaching or whatever, you know, with an open mind and, you know, not prejudging what's being said, and, you know, think about what's being said, you know, pray about what's being said. And as you get closer to the creator, and some of you, I'm sure, already are, you know, you're going to get better discernment. I mean, my discernment now is coming since I started Tai Chi Gong. And how long was that ago, Master Lama Rasaji?
About 10 months ago.
10 months ago. And that's with the influenza situation that I had that took me out for about 2 weeks. If it wasn't for Tai Chi Gong, that probably would have put me into the hospital, okay? But I give credit to the Tai Chi Gong. I only was doing the breathing, but now I'm doing, you know, all the chair exercises, right? The Emperor's Choice. And I got to tell you, my connection with the creator and the manifestation of what's going on around me, whether that's cleaning up partnership relationships or bringing in new people into the team, or, you know, bringing on additional revenue streams to do his purpose and will. We do have a lamasery that we got to build over here in North America, brothers and sisters. We're going to anchor a portal on this planet like it's never been seen before. Okay. I got to tell you that. And so we got a lot of work to do, but it's amazing how he's moving at all times to do these things. So I give you much love. I give him much love for bringing you back into my life. And again, when I'm in your dojo, I'm the student. And when you're in my dojo, You're the student, and we respect each other's, masteries, of what we have spent many years of doing and mastering. And
Amen.
I'm really, really super excited. So again, anybody who's got any results out of 45-day challenge, member, just share it with the people. Help change other people's lives. It's free. Give. Sow good seed. Give good vibes and get back so much. You'll see. We promise you. Go to those testimonials on Rasaji.com. Take 15 minutes of your life and read them if you haven't already. See the kind of change that's happening. Step into your power. Do you want some of that? See if you do. So, Master Lama Rasaji, we're going to talk again about, what they're going to discover today on this show is what happens when you pull back the veil of consciousness. Okay. So you mentioned the Great Awakening. Again, we've got some people out there that are somewhat on point, but we got a lot of people that are way off point. They're not spiritually grounded in any way, shape, or form. They talk about being in the 5D. They're lucky they're in the 3D. And, there's some of these people that are going to get total exposure soon because Abba wants that. Okay. So we're going to be bringing some stuff out. I've never done that. You know what I mean? But there's some things that are going to be coming out soon for all people to find out. We're going to start calling out some of these false prophets that are leading, the people into the wrong direction. Okay.
Amen.
And leading people, and you can get discernment. Your connection with the Creator can tell you whether who's telling the truth and who's not. And remember something again, it is based on the fruits of your labor that shows who you are. And I'm going to be showing the fruits of my labor and Master Lama Rasaji's labor and my team's labor very soon. And you're going to see that everything that I said I was going to do, I did. And Master Lama Rasaji knows that. And there's other people in my life that everything they say they were going to do, they have not done. Okay. So you will judge people by the fruits of their labor, not by the flappings of their gums. Just a little, hopefully, wisdom from the Patriot today before we get into our questions here. So, Master Lama Rasaji, any comments on what I just said there?
No, I think you're right on target. And people often say, well, Lama Rasaji, where's God's judgment? And I mean, you just basically spelled it out. It's coming out because every day the atmosphere gets hit with his Holy Spirit, just a little bigger dose than it was yesterday. So it's all coming out, Patriot Jimmie.
Well, you can feel it too, because remember, we were feeling the Mercury retrograde cycle. You said it was the double yin.
That's correct.
Cycle, which is double the power of a Mercury retrograde. I was feeling a week before, starting to feel the energy shifting a week before I went to Florida, which was like a week before Thanksgiving. So 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And I'm watching people around me right now, partners, family, all kinds of folks, that are having a hard time since January 14th. So
Amen.
Can you make a comment on that a little bit? How people can work through this if if they're
Sure.
not got that spiritual grounding and or they're not to a certain point and they're really, this is affecting them right now personally. How do they handle that before we get into these questions?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Patriot Jimmie. First of all, let me say, all you have to do is go back to previous episodes, of which there are 35 more episodes now, where you can hear us telling you guys, informing you weeks, months before the cycles are coming, that they're coming. And then we're telling you what to do about it, how to ground, the 45-day challenge. The most basic reason we created this for free is so that everybody could invest 45 days to tune into the positive and say no to the negative influences in their life. You cannot afford in this day and age to have your outward circumstances dictate your inner beingness. You have to take control of your spirit, your mind, and your body. In ancient India, they called that the true chanda. Spirit, mind, and body are but one. Master Rabbi Jesus referred to the spirit, mind, and body as the temple. You are responsible for that temple. That responsibility is rent with the option to buy. You get to buy it when you're a master over your spirit, mind, and body. The teachings of Tai Chi Gong are all about the mastery of the temple so that God could put more of his Sharat in you. There's nothing more grounding than to have Abba anchor more of his power and wisdom in you. But ask yourself, can you handle it? Can you deal with it? When your body starts to vibrate at a rate much higher than you've ever done before, can your heart take it? Can your kidneys, can your liver take it? As that bloodstream feels like hot lava running through your body, it's like, God, can my vessels even embrace what God's putting in me? And then he's going to put a passion in your heart. He's going to tell you that I sent you here with the column exercises that you download from the document section on Rasaji.com. He's going to reveal to you that I sent you here to do a divine mission that only you can do. No one else can take care of this for me. And it's not fully manifested till it can impact the whole world. So I'm excited. I think we're speaking to spiritual patriots, Jimmie. I think we're speaking to spiritual warriors. They know the weapon of this age is the mala beads, the garlands. It's not the Uzi. It's not the shotgun. We've been there. We've done that. This time, the job is to tell people that this is the age of Abba. This is the age of the Father. And he doesn't need a mediator, nor does he need a prophet between him and you. Yeah. What he needs is for you to turn to him in all humbleness and listen, which means to meditate to what he has for you. That's where we're at, Patriot Jimmie.
Absolutely. And I want to say one comment. I had burned my lip. So the scab, you see, I don't put makeup on, by the way. So I am who I am, and that's all that I am. Here, but on my lips, so that's what's going on there. It's not a cold sore; it was a burn, from eating some hot food, or I think it was coffee or something I did. I don't even remember. It just, I just burned it. So folks, what Master Lama Rasaji said is very, very important. Okay, and one of the things that's going to happen, and we've talked about this before, about you're not going to be able to live in the gray. You're not going to be able to spew lies about someone, which a lot of people do, and they get massive amounts of people watching them, and they just spew lies about people and not being held accountable for it, right? You want to speak the truth. You want to have integrity. You want to have transparency. You don't want to get involved in the negativity. You want to stay positive. Now, understand, sometimes Abba utilizes people to bring out information that they don't know from one of these false prophets, right? And not that we just need to bring the information out. Tune out that negativity. Start looking at who you're watching and who you're listening to. We did an episode about this, about who are you listening to. I don't remember what episode it was, but if you go to Rasaji's.com, you can go to all the Patriot Lama shows right there under videos, okay? And you just go through the titles and you'll see it. And I mean, watch that, okay? Who are you listening to? False prophets, because those folks are all going to crumble this year. We've been feeling it. Myself and Master Lama Rasaji has been feeling it, that these people that are out there continuing to set deadlines, continuing to talk stuff that they are not, and continuing to do what they're doing will not be around for the long term. What is the fruit of their labor? What do they got going on? Do they have anything going on? And one of the things I told Master Lama Rasaji I want to do is I want to make sure that I show people the progression that we're making on a yearly basis towards the goal of Abba. Because again, these businesses that Abba have us stewarding are not mine. In the human form, and are not Master Lama Rasaji's, or is not my partner Genius Steve's, okay? Or not my brother partner Jack. These are Abba's businesses. Abba's businesses, and you are the steward, and you are responsible to act with integrity, righteousness, truthfulness. And I got to tell you, one of the things about me in 2022, anybody that ain't following that, they're going to be out of my life. Abba's removing them. And I know Master Lama Rasaji, you got anything to say about that before we get started with the questions here?
Well, that's where the rubber meets the road. I mean, that's where there's no gray. It's not anymore the concept that you can have your foot on the riverbank in one boat and 1 foot in the boat thinking you're going to higher ground. If you want to go to 5D, you have to take that foot off the riverbank and you got to jump in the boat and you got to go. You got to be all in now. You got to be all for him. It's who's going to survive. You want your family to be safe. You want your family to be protected. First of all, you commit to the challenge of the 45-day. You raise your vibration, then get as many people in your family. You know, the beautiful thing, it's almost never said, you know, the people who follow us, I mean, and commit. When we have a membership, it's a household membership. It's not an individual membership.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at how ridiculous it is to be a member one day, if you decide after the 45-day challenge, which we want you to do first, we want you to, then if you think you want more instruction, more private instruction, by all means, for less than 50 cents a day, you can get that. But when you divide 50 cents now by a household of 4 or 5 that are willing to do, why is that beneficial? The more people in your household that start to do these exercises, as the judgment is coming across the surface of the earth, it gives Abba, it gives Archangel Michael especially a sniper approach as opposed to a scatter gun approach. See, when he recently did this tsunami, he did it just to show people his power. Look how strategic that he did what he did. He could have took out an island if he wanted to, but he didn't take out that island, did he? So you got to look how strategic when it comes to doing what they say in the Far East, being the Shiva and surgically removing what needs to be. See, this is the time you get right with God so that you're not surgically removed, because what happens with nature's finer forces, this is one of the biggest ways God the Father uses his power. He says, you either purify yourself before me, you get right with nature, or she will balance herself of you. Yes. That's, you can count on, Jimmie.
Yes. And, you know, it's amazing because, you know, we're broadcasting out on YouTube and on Facebook and all of that. And I go to share the Facebook message as you're talking right now from the MPN Facebook page to my personal profile. And the number of people on that video alone is 111. So is Abba speaking to me and Master Lama Rasaji and all of you right now? He is. So we must listen. And again, we must close our ears and our eyes to these false prophets. We must tune out the negative news, any negativity, and we must focus on the solutions. And one of the other things is when you become part of the private membership, which is 50 cents a day, you're helping us put the Lamasery in North America. So you will see, and we will be transparent on what we're doing, okay? And we want to help you all. Like Master Lama Rasaji said, you know, it's coming, and it's already here, and it's going to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you're not ready for it, it's either going to be the greatest blessings of your entire life, or it's going to be the most horrible nightmare you've ever expected. Okay. Remember, the dimensions on the world, from the first or whatever it is, the lowest to the highest, and I won't debate that. Okay. It's layered on the earth. Okay. So where will you be? We want you to be where we're going. Okay. And not that we're perfect, but we work every day on asking the creator of all things to help guide us step by step. Before we even get on here, we pray to him to guide us step by step. Make the creator of all things, Abba, I don't want to get into what you call again, the priority of your life. Okay. The priority, the number one priority. So now, Pastor Lama Rasaji, let me get in to the very first question, which is freaking awesome. And I want to hear this answer. Why do we incarnate with a veil over our conscious mind?
Well, that was established during the time of the Akashic records. So remember, there's been 3 or 4 major sales by the dark side of humanity. If you remember our episode recently on Adam and the Garden of Eden, we talked about God the Father stepping in after human DNA had been on the planet for a couple of 100,000s of years. And DNA with humans was mixed with angels. It was mixed with demonic beings, extraterrestrial beings. You had all forms of DNA, but there was still human DNA, which was dominantly there. So Adam said was the beginning of the new human. It was the first awoken being that had now God's DNA in it. Now, when Adam and Eve, as we know, began to turn from God and from the Eden, Adam went through an enormous amount of punishing, but of course, part of it he did to himself. Shortly after that, the veil of Akashic was put on. It was an agreement established by different kind of angelic realm that the veil of unconsciousness, because humans could not truly see who they truly were, was established. That being the case, there are certain things that happen. So when Jesus comes and Jesus starts to talk about the second birth, because Abba gave him permission to talk about that. In the Far East, they refer to it as the Kundalini experience. The veil of unconsciousness was agreed to be removed as the individual was consciously prepared. Now, watch how this works. Think about it. Here we are, we go to sleep at night, unconscious dominates. We get up in the day, we remember very, very little about that. This is one of the reasons I always tell people, keep that first notebook by the nightstand, because when God's speaking to you in 4D, because that's mainly what you're aware of during the night, 3D mind kind of goes to sleep, right? The other thing of it is we got our practices. We look at our practices. And so what we do with our practices, we're realizing one of the most important things it's doing is on a kinesiology level, it's balancing both hemispheres of the brain. Well, it's also merging unconscious and conscious mind together. But guess what? You're not asleep when you're doing your Tai Chi Gong practice. Aha. The third book I tell people to keep, if you're a person in your work or life that you're mobile during the week, even 2 or 3 days a week, even if you're riding with Uber or Lyft or whatever, take that third book with you. Why? We'll be out amongst shopping, seeing movies, or at the theater, live or movie theater, and all of a sudden we have one of those aha moments. Because as we're in our first few years of transformation, we have a tendency to still focus outside. And Tai Chi Gung's an inside game, but we're still peeling away the onion of sleepiness, right? All of a sudden, something projects on the screen of life, and you want to be able to come back to your car or your truck or your Uber driver, and you want to write that down. You want to bring this home. Then every 90 days, what do? You're seeing a book of life that you're writing together out of these 3 books, and the veil of unconsciousness is being lifted. And as you're practicing your exercises, you start to remember things that happened months ago. And lo and behold, you start remembering things that happened when you were a teenager, and you remember that first love and that first broken heart. You begin to recall this because the mind has an incredible ability to recall, and you can only do that by fusing the two hemispheres of the brains together. Guess what happens? You say, well, how far does memory go, Lama Rasaji? Well, if I remember back to conception or birth of this lifetime, what would you call any memory before that? Would you call it incarnation? Would you call it a chapter out of the Akashic book of records that certain masters put together to manipulate the human race? What would you call that memory? If one day you recalled creation itself, what would that make you? In scriptures, in holy scriptures, it says, we are the spirit of the truth. We can neither be created nor destroyed, for we were with him as we were born the spirit of the truth. And it says that his son, whatever you want to call the son, that incarnated 2,000 years ago, that the world today is still trying to figure out, he gave him the permission to tell us, you don't have to die to go to heaven. And even if you were to die, you could be resurrected. Well, what does resurrected mean? It means to bring forth. To bring forth what? The Father, Abba's Sharad. It is the only power that can overcome death. And this is so important for you to know. So death was sold to the human race. Akashic records were sold to the human race. And Jimmie, the veil of unconsciousness was sold to the human race. Jimmie.
It's a lot of stuff has been sold to the human race in order to keep people from stepping into their power and claiming the destiny that the Creator set out for them. So the Great Awakening, as you're starting to lay this out and we've talked about, it's happening. It's just what side of it are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the truth and honest side of it and the light, or are you going to be in the darkness? Because again, the people that are in the gray that aren't moving towards the light are going to continue to move to the darkness. Even if they're telling you that they got 5D going on, but yet their behavior and the way they conduct themselves in their life, they're lucky to be in 3D. You know, you got to move yourself away from them people. I do. The Lama does. All of you do. We all need to do it. We need to bring the people of truth, honesty, integrity, transparency, and love and light together, and the light be so bright that these people can't be in it. Now, I got a funny story to tell before we get into question number 2, and I got to tell this because it's so important. One of the superpowers of Master Lama Rasaji is very interesting, and I've talked about a couple of them and have firsthand experience because my wife Cindy, my mi amor, my love of 30 some years now, I told you about the experience on the plane from her going from Austin to Miami and being terrified of the plane and being in turbulence that were throwing everybody around, and her calling out for help to Master Lama Rasaji, and him actually, his presence showing, being there, holding her hand as I'm talking to her about this on one phone. He's calling me through the internet, telling me what she just did. They're not talking to each other. I'm in between hearing both things simultaneously. That is something that I've told before. But what I haven't told about before is the fact that one of Master Lama's superpowers, that because of being in his energy, is telling the truth. And from a partner side, I've watched certain partners not wanting to be on with the Lama, not wanting to be in his energy, not because they know, right, that they're not what they're saying they are. Now, the Lama knows I love being in his energy. I'm not a perfect person, but I work every day on moving forward into Abba's will and purpose. So the Lama, Brother Lama, Rasaji here, he's got like the Wonder Woman noose of truth. I've had teammates on it, and I'm not going to name names, that have problems going on in their lives. And I got Master Lama Rasaji on there. And the next thing you know, they're spilling the beans. Everything. I'm running at this percentage. I got this problem. I don't even know where it comes from. It just comes out. So it's amazing how powerful the system of righteousness in Abba and what Master Lama Rasaji is teaching here with the Tai Chi Gung, and that just gives you the rocket fuel, man. I mean, that's opening up your energy portals. That's, like I was told I would be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I was told that I would be on a morphine pump for the rest of my life. And since I've been doing the coffee grinder, I call it the coffee grinder, because the soul and the energy portal you were telling me about in the back, healing's happening right in front of it's amazing. Okay. So again, all these people that are out there spewing the falseness are going to be exposed. And we together as brothers and sisters, loving each other, need to come together and be truthful and transparent and honest. This world is tired of the lies. Just because people say something over and over again and again and again doesn't make it true. You must have supporting documentation. You must have the truth on your side, not that you just can spew slander against people. And I see it all the time. I have it coming at me all the time. And you know what? I don't worry about it, because Abba's got my back. And I watched the last person that attacked me and lied about me and ripped my team and me off, Abba off. He didn't make it. And it wasn't by my hand. It wasn't by the Lama's hand. It was about Abba's hand. And what we're telling you about, there's been mass extinctions on this planet before, where he just decided, Abba decided, everybody's gone. I'm starting all over again. This will not be the case this time around. So make sure that you're on the right side of this equation. The equation of love, the equation of life, the equation of just amazing things that are going to happen in your life as you grasp a hold of what we're talking about here.
Amen. Okay?
It's not about me. It's not about Master Lama Rasaji. It's about the creator of all things and you building a relationship with him, and then learning how to, you're a soul having a human experience, learning how to open up those energy portals. I don't care if you call them chakras. I don't care what you call them. They are what they are. You got the energy moving through you, just like the earth's got the energy moving through it in the shield. You got it happening. It's happening like this. It's a figure 8. Now, if you want to make that stronger, get into the 45-day challenge. And I got to tell you, take 15 minutes out, read those testimonials, and see if you want some of that.
Amen.
Because I know anybody is in their right mind going to want some of that. Okay. So let's get to question number 2. Again, just, the spirit is in me, and I'm speaking what the spirit wants me to speak. And that's what's going to be the
Spirit
truth
of the Patriot. Love it.
So number 2, what are ways to pull away the veil?
Well, I was kind of covering that toward the end of answering the last question. So you have to understand their trigger mechanisms. I would have to say also trauma is a huge one. So when people are experiencing PTSD, in their experience of PTSD, what are they doing? They are allowing their master ability of recall to play against them. They're playing a tape. Some of you, probably this was said in one of our Friday training sessions, remembers that when the Lama was 17, and it was 6 months before I moved to New York City, before I met the Lama Master, is that I was on the way home one day, and a lot of us, the swim team, had been to the springs in North Florida called Itchituckney Springs, and you park your car at one end of the stream, and 7 miles later you park the second car, you get on inner tubes and you float down and you scuba dive a little bit, and it's spring water. So, I mean, it's really, really cold. It's coming down the mountains, right? And on the way home, my friends that were part of our high school swim team, their tires were definitely way too bald. And it just started to rain on a hot summer August day in Florida. And if you know, it's easy to plane when the asphalt's really hot and that first rain hits. They hit a puddle of water, and this old Chevy Impala went head on to a VW bump. My best friend was killed instantly in that time. And I remember as I was driving up to take my two younger sisters and a friend to safety and then head back where the rescue was coming to help pull friends from this. I remember my mind, the video in my mind was going over and over and over and over again. Now, see, most people see this as a power out of control. You better believe if you've experienced some of the horrors like our blessed military people who give their life for the freedom of their country have, it's complete. They don't know how to turn it off. What they don't understand, this is a power that you actually have. And in Tai Chi Gong, we learn to harness that power, and we use the recall to benefit us. And that first trauma or PTSD also not only records this violent moment, but it also opens up the lens of the camera. And the lens of the camera, once you learn to control it and turn it on and off, does what? Pushes back the veil of unconsciousness. Now, that being said, Tai Chi Gong is dealing with three brains and not two. You go, what do you mean, Lama, three brains, right? So we all know that we have the analytical side on the left hemisphere of the brain, and we have the creative side on the right hemisphere. Now, it could be explained in a different way. I could say the left is the parental brain, and I could say the right is the childlike brain, right? But what happens when the two brains get together and they form what's called in scripture Jacob's ladder or the infinity sign, or basically we refer to it as the figure eight? So when both hemispheres are electromagnetically firing at the same time, it gives birth to a third brain that only happens like it happens in the rest of nature. When mother and dad kind of get together, they kind of produce a baby, right? Well, the third brain in ancient city yoga that is rooted in the brainstem, the medulla oblongata, has the ability to increase the frontal lobes of the brain. And scientists all agree that children today are being born with larger frontal lobes than they were. Another sign of the awakening, right? But it takes electrical charges to activate Jesus's second birth, born of the fire of the Father. What happens is that brain was not only meant for motor skills and modus operandi with our body. It was made to also take us into second birth and develop the brain that occupies, well, the other 85% of the brain that Albert Einstein says is asleep in people, Jimmie. So Tai Chi Gong is also given to humanity to activate the fetus brain and make it awake and come into maturity. Jimmie.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about my Kundalini current situation and where I'm at about halfway through it. And as I'm sitting here today, where the area where they told me I would be in a wheelchair and be on a morphine pump is on, it's like heated up. It's like having, like I got a heating pad not burning, by the way, not burning the flesh, but the heat is tremendous. And the heat at night, I mean, I think my wife said it was like 20 some degrees. It's 34 degrees right now, folks, here in Austin, Texas. Yesterday it was 70 something. But I'm without the blanket on. I'm like a furnace. I mean, it is amazing what's happening. I'm so excited, to get through this process and step into the full power of what Abba intended me to be, and continuing increasing that power every millisecond of the day. And we all should be looking for that, because then we all can change this world with Abba through his power, his glory, his praise, and get her done. And that's what I want to do. So I'm gonna go into the third question now. Is this all part of the Great Awakening? I think you answered that before, but
it is. And here's the neat thing about the Great Awakening, Jimmie. What we've revealed in the first 40 minutes of this show only, we've revealed that there are spiritual changes happening, that the bodies of children today are being born with frontal lobes larger than, hundreds of years ago. I remember my youngest child, everybody knows about the soft spot in a child's head. Even 20 years later, after my first two born children, the baby is born with a soft spot, not the normal size of a quarter, but the size of a surface of a hard ball. And I remember normally that soft spot will close in about 6 to 18 months. I remember 18 months later, that membrane was still open. If you go back to ancient mystical rituals that have existed on this planet, especially back to Monte Picchu in Peru, where 7 Spanish angels anchored themselves in 7 different mountains, where healings were happened instantaneously from the light of God, just hitting those mountains and reflecting. This was happening. They were, and even certain rituals, they would literally cut the membrane out and put disc in there to keep it from closing. So there are physical changes happening to our children being born. There's metamorphoses and transformationals that's happening with us through second birth. Simultaneously, what is Abba doing? Boom, boom. Every day he's increasing his light emissions from heaven into the atmosphere of 3, 4, and 5D. And I remember, I'll never forget, the early first Lama, Boganathar Lao Tzu, says, God's not God unless he's God in all dimensions. God is not an absent God. God does not let his children to fend for themselves. God is God in the 3D as much as he is God in the 5D. And the moment you meet him where he's at, you get your walking papers, and then we all set ourselves up for the Enoch experience, because that's what's coming, folks. What's coming? Just think of Enoch and what happened. He was a preacher of righteousness. And what does righteousness mean in the Lamasery? Right use of God's laws. Remember, God's ways, God's laws are not men's ways, and man's law. Learn his ways, learn his laws, and ascend. Jimmie.
It's another thing I'm going to say before we go into question number 4 here. We have 5 questions, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A for the whole brothers and sisters live here on the Patriot Lama show. But we were talking about this great awakening and what's going on right now, because what people don't understand, you were talking about the storm is coming, and I'm watching people that are what, I don't want to judge people, but look, they're having a hard time right now since January 14th. A really hard time. and I'm looking at some of the things that's happening with the governments of the world and the businesses of the world and all of that. If people can't see that the Great Awakening's happening and the shift is occurring and the energy is going to get more intense, and if you're not working on yourself and getting yourself spiritually grounded and increasing your vibration, you're going to have problems. Is that your music in the background, Master Lama Rasaji?
No, it's it.
I hear a little bit of music. I was like, oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I was saying, am I hearing that music, or is that Master Lama Rasaji's music? No, that's beautiful music.
Yes.
And one of the things is make sure that you're filling your environment with good frequency.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very good frequency. You want to make sure that you're putting out 432 hertz, 528 hertz, and all the other hertz. You can find these things for free on YouTube. We're going to actually be adding some music with those frequencies into the free, free 45-day challenge area, members area. But it's really important that you're absorbing these frequencies into your mass around you. All the this happens. They absorb that. Make sure you're protecting yourself against the bad frequencies that you're getting attacked with. I mean, I know a lot of people like to watch TV, and I'll watch it once in a while. My wife, she likes to watch it, but 444 hertz, 440 hertz comes out of the TV. Everything used to be tuned to 444. King David and his musicians that played 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because Abba loves music. Okay. Talk about the greatest composer ever. And that was tuned to 444. The TV used to be tuned to 444 until the Second World War, where the Rockefellers and other people involved decided to tune it to 440, right? So you gotta, and then 440 is not good, and you can do your research yourself. It's out there. So you've got to be careful how much of the let's say television that you're watching. Again, the 45-day challenge, what we ask people to do, except for the Patriot Lama show and the Daily Lama, you can get on the Rasaji.com, and even the Patriot Lama show, you can get on Rasaji.com. And then, I know if you want to go to YouTube, is get out of the minutia, get out of the social media, get out of the TV, and get into the relationship with the creator of all things and start stepping into your power. I mean, I seen a comment here about somebody who's being demonically attacked. When you step into your power, when you build the relationship with the creator, that will disappear.
Oh, yeah.
That will disappear, okay? And you need to make sure that you're working on that. Don't think that demonic attacks aren't increasing. They are. We are in a war that is really, I know there's flesh and blood in a war, but what's happening on behind the scenes in the other dimensions, in the spiritual realms, makes what's happening here look like nada, okay?
Absolutely.
And you've got to be ready to understand what's going on behind the scenes, okay? Because some people, it would drive them out of their minds, right? So you got to get yourself spiritually grounded to understand what's going to be dumped, what's coming out, all the exposure that's going to be happening. You want to make sure that what's going on the outside, like Master Lama Rasaji said, is not affecting you on the inside. It's not affecting your vibration, because what you vibrate out, you get back.
Amen.
What you vibrate out, you get back. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. It's the business rules of this life. Okay. So I'm glad that you don't watch TV. That's really awesome. And again, my wife likes 2.5 Men. She likes the Golden Girls. So I'll, watch that. If Master Lama Rasaji's got like this, this She movie, I'm good for a good, movie once in a while. But, also I've got Genius Steve stickers, his holograms all over my stuff to make sure that I'm not getting that negative. I'm circumventing that negative frequency. One of the things I have in my office is a salt lamp. Okay. You should have a salt lamp. What are they? $20 on Amazon. You need to start protecting yourself. And in the 45-day challenge, we're going to also be adding in some of these frequency protection training that's going to be back there for everybody. And I mean, right now, I mean, I've never seen a free membership, but with all this value, right? But that's what we're all about. That's what we decided we wanted this to be free because there's no excuse. And remember something. Don't be hateful in life. Be grateful in life.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Be grateful. Thank. Don't ask. Thank as it is, as it has happened. Thank the Creator. Don't ask the Creator.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we're on again a little bit of wisdom from the Patriot. Hopefully you like that. But let's go on now to number 4. Where does the practice of Tai Chi Gong fit in?
Well, I've kind of been covering that along the way.
Recap it.
Yeah. I think we can just, it's given to humanity to make the wake up a little bit easier, to make you be able to balance the frequencies a little bit better, to have less side effects. As you know, the energy Abba's sitting into the atmosphere right now, it's making some people instantly enlightened. It's stroking some people, causing heart attacks to people that are not plumbing heart attacks, but electromagnetic heart attacks, right? So if you look at our morning star, if your heart rate is beating rhythmically with the morning star, did you know it too has a frequency? And that the more balanced a human being is, their heart rate is exactly pulsing with the sun. Think about that. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
It's a big deal, right? So the more you get off that frequency, then a solar flare comes out. And then it ripples through your energy body. And it's like it's like a kung fu master hits you with what they call a delayed death punch. And there are masters and martial artists that can, with their palm or with their fist, hit you. And you think nothing happens. And tomorrow that person wakes up and kills over dead.
Right.
With no trace, no fingerprints, no fist print, no nothing. So the sun's doing this, right? And not only that, the more that your frequency of your heart rate is with the sun, you start the youthing process more than you start the aging process. And so that's just one thing that's going on. Probably as you get deeper into our system, one day you're going to come across what's called the Lama's lotus breathing exercise. And when you do that, you will have arrived. That, in my opinion, Jimmie, outside of the almost 100 hours of recorded training we have, if nothing more is value for less than 50 cents a day, Jim, it's learning this 8-minute meditation. You've heard Jimmie's story where he spent months just learning how to breathe energy. This takes the breathing energy exercise to the next level. When I was on the mountaintop in Tibet, in the middle of my first 45-day challenge, imagine I get stuck on the mountaintop. I'm 19 going on 20, and there's no human being there. Imagine a kid going through that. Think about where you are at 20, which you have been able to deal with that, right? That's another story. But I remember somewhere in between the 20 and the 30-day period, because I was notching little notches on the seeing how long I was going to be there. This angelic light being appears to me and takes my hands and places them to my tummy, and then takes them and places them to my head, and then puts the palms on my hand, and my hands light up from the light being the angel. And then light shot down through the balls of my feet, and then my energy field filled up like the Milky Way galaxy and just sparkled and sparkled and sparkled. That exercise connects you to 5D faster than any single 8 minutes you could do. It will anchor you right in 5D. You want to go to 5D today? Lama's Lotus breathing meditation. Jimmie.
Well, breathing's so important, and they've restricted the breathing. Most people don't learn how to breathe. I mean, in school, we don't teach anybody what's important. We don't teach them how to breathe properly. We don't teach them how to budget their household or and balance their checkbook. All we do is indoctrinate them with a bunch of nonsense and, not give them any real life skills, right? So, I spent 2 months breathing, and I know what that alone changed. And as I go through, the prayer book that I read every morning and the daily prophecies and all that, I'm actually breathing by each paragraph. In through my nose, out through my mouth. And when I'm breathing in through my nose, I'm inflating my stomach, and I'm breathing out through my mouth. And I got to tell you that breathing energy is so powerful and amazing what's going on. I'm watching what's happening to my wife in front of my eyes. I'm reading these testimonials of what's happening. And breathing is so important. When you're actually getting energy, breathing energy, and actually getting more oxygen to your organs, your brain, and into your bloodstream, and then you're working on opening up your energy portals on your body, which is where the energy is flowing, again, through the body, all around them. It's amazing. Now, I know we got some people on the 45-day challenge here. Again, why don't you, in the comments, talk about the 45-day challenge a little bit, what it's done for you. I am going to show you Rasaji.com when we're done here, and how you can navigate the site. And, if it's on mobile, I'll make it smaller, and how you can join the 45-day challenge 100% free. Okay. Go in there. And then if you feel it, once it's done and, you're seeing this, it's happening, and again, 15 minutes in there on the testimonial, you're going to want some of that. And once you see that happening and you want to get more of the Lama every month, you want to get 8 hours, I did say that correctly, 8 hours of training, 2 mastermind webinars a month with myself, Master Lama Rasaji, and Brother Joseph Land, then you do it. And guess what? Watch what you're spending your money on. If you're spending your money, you're sowing seed. If you're spending your money on the wrong thing, you're sowing seed into the wrong thing. That's why it's so important to do the column exercises. They're in the 45-day challenge. So you get discernment on what you're spending your money on. What are you spending your time on? What, with your focus, you really got to start. I do that every day. I mean, I'm doing, we're talking about this all the time, right? Master Lama Asajji, we're always looking at everything. We're always looking what we need to make better for Abba, for what he wants us to do in our destiny. You
Amen.
Definitely need to do that. And if you're not looking, you don't know. Exactly. And if you're sowing your seed into bad things, then you can't expect good things to happen. So I like to sow my seeds into good things. And one of the things I don't like to do is tell people what I'm doing. Like, meaning if I'm tithing or I'm giving to someone to help them, I'm not out there broadcasting that to everybody. You should not broadcast it to everybody. Okay? Very, very important. Leave that between you and the Creator. Because once you broadcast it to everybody, there's nothing from the Creator going to come to you for that. If you keep it quiet, you leave it between you and the Creator, watch the blessings that pour in. Okay? So tithe good seed. Sow good seed. Very, very important. So number 5, what impact will these super conscious people have on society?
Well, Master Bo Yang was credited with saying the most powerful miracle is a change in consciousness. change in awareness. So as the veil of unconsciousness is pulled back and people look in the mirror and see who they really are, and they get their walking papers from Abba, and they begin to do everything consciously now, and they know where memory was before they got here, who they were before. If you know who you are before, how powerful are you going to be on your mission in this life? If you realize that you spent 5 or 6 existences, whatever you call them, doing something very similar that you're doing now, and now you came to master it. Now you came to put it all together. How powerful of a force are you going to be with Abba blessing that? And that being said, let me give you a good idea right in our back door what some conscious being did recently to make a difference, really make a difference in people's life. And quite a few of them are in our audience today, and I wanted to thank them. And that is, if you remember when the storm came and hit the Philippines about a month ago, for a couple of days, nothing happened. People's houses were devastated. Nobody that had a second floor in a building survived the pathway of a storm that was gusting to 160 miles an hour. But a lot of you saw a fundraiser being organized and you contributed it. And during the next couple of days, I commented on this in the Daily Lama. And watch what I said. I said, unfortunately, that most politicians, most governments, most CEOs, and even most clergy lead from behind. See, true leaders lead from the front. They don't lead from behind, they lead from the front. And I told you that the government of the Philippines should have been helping their people. I even went so far to say, people asked me, what are you doing? I said, we're going to feed enough people and clothe enough people, we're going to shame the government into taking the right action. Guess what happened? Yesterday, military in the Philippines showed up from the main island of Manila to Cebu and some of the islands that were devastated. And yes, they should have been there 3 or 4 weeks ago, but they showed up and they had bottles of water, they had canned goods, they had rice, and they were everywhere all over. And it's because of you and because of what we did together as an aware group of people. And we're still doing it because people are repairing homes, because we're going to continue to shame them until they show up with lumber, with hammer, with tools. Do you understand the power of what you can do when your consciousness wakes up and do good for Abba? Because we did good for Abba, now, for whatever the reason, the government shows up and takes from the hundreds and now thousands of people in the Philippines are benefiting from. They still don't have electricity in most places. They still don't have Wi-Fi in most places. So this is a huge thing. This is what is an example of what will happen as more of us wake up and the veil of unconsciousness goes back and goes, oh my God, I look in the mirror and I see who I am. And I see you, Father, looking back at me in the mirror. And I know I came here to glorify you. And I'm willing to sign up and be the spiritual patriot that I'm going to be. I'm here to glorify you, Abba. Jimmie.
Yes, that has to be your purpose, not to accumulate things. You come into this world with nothing, you will leave it with nothing. These are 100% truths. There is no arguing these facts, whether you're a troll, whether you whatever. These are truths. What you have, what you're put in charge of, you got to be worthy for. You have to be a good servant. You got to utilize it to further the kingdom of light, not the kingdom of darkness. You got to not choose it, because I got people in my life that say it ain't about the money, but it's all about the money. Because when you look at what they did with the money, there's no fruits of their labor. There's lavish living, there's all kinds of stuff going on, but there is no fruits of their labor. There is no fruits. And I would ask anyone out there that's talking about all this stuff they've achieved, and I'm not getting into like charity where you get now the mission that's going on, the Lama's doing in the Philippines, and we have beautiful people in Circle Life happening. You got to tell people publicly, because you got to get people to help, right? But when you're doing something for a family member, or you're giving to somebody in need, or you're doing something like that with the homeless, or whatever you're doing, you do not need to talk to people about that. When if you're going out and you're helping raise like a GoFundMe to help a situation, then you got to talk about it. You got to get people out there. But it ain't about you. It's about all the people that are giving their hard-earned money to help the situation. Okay? So you got to start looking at what people are doing. If people want you to spend money with them when they deserve for you to spend money with them, when they've given you something of value for free that surpasses anything that you can believe, and that you want to do that because you want to tithe good seed, you got to make sure that you're seeing the fruits. Okay? It's really, really important, because there's a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out in 2022 for a lot of different people. I'm talking about big, giant church organizations with pastors. I'm talking about people that claim they got X amount of people and they don't. And, a bunch of people listen to them, and they're basically a false prophet, and there's no fruits of their labor except their self-indulgence. Okay. We really got to really look at our inner circle as brothers and sisters of the light, of daughters and sisters of the Most High Creator of all things. And we got to start looking and weeding our own garden, and me included, by the way. And you'll see as I go through this transition of purification, of weeding the garden, and I explain it because I'm very transparent, as Master Lama Rasaji knows what I'm allowed to explain legally. You're going to see that I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. And if people are just talking the talk and there's no fruits of their labor, I mean, the one thing I can tell you about Genius Steve and Brother Master Lama Rasaji, Brother Genius Steve and Brother Master Lama Rasaji, which I'm 50% partners in both these companies. They're the best things that I'm involved in. The testimonials from each one of them are life transformations. It's amazing. And, I'm only going to be involved moving forward in things that do that. Okay. I'm going to weed my own garden. And you all need to weed your own garden and make sure that people, whether they're your family members or they're your business partners or they're your significant other, whatever, people need to be honest. They need to tell the truth. They understand they need to have integrity. They need to do what's right. And everybody can say they're doing it, but when you pull back, let's talk about the veil. When you pull back the veil, Abba's got a way of showing you the truth. Something's happened to me in the last couple of weeks that Master Lama Rasaji knows, that the veil got lifted on a person that I thought was honest, that was doing the right thing, but the whole time has been plotting their evilness. Okay. So you got to be careful, right? And as I get more, I started noticing it as it was brought, and I started getting the discernment. But you got to listen to Abba. You got to look at what he's telling you and make sure that you're getting rid of all of these people that do not serve Abba in a true purpose and can show you the fruits of their labor. Not fancy stuff, not luxury vacation. I don't begrudge anybody of anything, but what are you doing to change this world? What are you doing to make this place a better place? Are you selling fear porn? Are you selling hopium? Or are you doing something to change people's lives? That's what I say. Go with that discernment. Master Lama Rasaji on Rasaji.com. And I'm going to show you here in a minute the website, and then we're going to open it up for live questions. So stay with us. And then please share this after the recording's up. Share, please. Say you're sowing the seeds of blessing by sharing. How many seeds of blessings do you want to share? I promise you, the more you share, the more blessing will come to you, because this is a word from Abba, not from Master Lama Rasaji and Jimmie Schwinn. This is the word from Abba, the Creator, through His Spirit, through us. Amen. He gets all the honor and glory, not us. He does. And we will show you the fruits of the labor. And you can go to Rasaji.com and you can look at these testimonials and you will see the fruits of the labor. Okay, you will see it. All right. So let me go ahead and share this with everybody. Make sure you can still see me.
Okay.
Okay.
Still see
you. See me okay, Brother Rasaji?
Yes, still hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're on the site, and we're also working on updating the homepage again, and we're going to continue to work on it. We got some great team members. We're getting input back from all of our lovely brothers and sisters involved in the circle of life. So if you're coming to this, which most people come to this in the mobile form, it looks like that. Okay. It looks like that. And then you've got the 45-day challenge link here. You've got the Daily Lama here. You got the Patriot Lama show here. Again, the 45-day challenge, free, 100%. And then, of course, we've got, the Circle of Life Wellness Initiative, our 3 pillars of wellness. And we talk about energy wellness. We talk about nutrition. And we talk about spiritual. So you've got nutritional wellness, you got energy wellness, and you got spiritual wellness. And all of those have Master Lama Rasaji on video, wellness with Genius Steve and Master Lama Rasaji. When you want to come in and join here, again, you can click on the 45-day challenge right here. And let's see how fast my internet is when I got this on. You can go down and you can start the challenge. And when you start the challenge, and since 70% of the people are looking at this on mobile, I'm doing it in mobile. You go here, wait, and then you put in your information, you confirm your password, you sign up. Once you sign up, you log in, and I'll open this up at desktop too when I'm done. And you go here. Do not email that Gmail email, please, because I won't answer you back. I use it for testing. And then you're into the welcome to the Circle of Life community. Watch the video, click on the challenge. But here on the menu side, you've got your account. You can, you've got a free membership, so you have no payment here. You got your store account. If you buy something for the store, your account's there. If you ever get into the private membership where you want 8 hours of training from Master Lama Rasaji and the Q&A and all that, it would be in there. The 45-day challenge is right here. The documents, the ebook, the testimonials. If you need motivation to move forward, read some more testimonials and say to yourself, do I want some of that? The documents are there with the and by the way, they're working on these pages. I tell you, Brother Keith does a wonderful job with the team. The way that this is just looking beautiful. You can get the column exercises right here. It explains to you what to do. That gives you the sheet, print it out, and get her done. Don't hesitate. Don't procrastinate. The biggest thing that kills dreams? Procrastination. Procrastination, okay? Don't do that to yourself. The book, the ebook, you click on that. And we're working on getting another PDF reader that you will be able to start back where you left off. I have that on the lost books. So we're looking at another one where you're going to be able to start where you left off. You can download the book, print it out. For goodness sakes, what's it cost? A few dollars? Order the physical book, tied to the Lama, have it in your hand, read it, okay? Very, very important that you do this. And then all the wellness stuff, the videos, the Daily Lama, the Patriot Lama show, the lost journey of Jesus. Very important to watch that, okay? You want to get some prayer beads. I'm sitting here doing this and I'm going, I am blessed by Abba. I am blessed. I am grateful. You just affirmations. It's the power of doing something physically and saying it mentally, right? Okay, affirmations are big. You will live life or death from the tongue, right? You're going to eat the fruit of it. Life and death is in the tongue, and you shall eat the fruit of it. So make sure that your words are positive words about you and your family, right? Now, I'm not saying that if there's a false prophet that has to be exposed. I mean, Christ didn't have very nice words for the elite of that day, called them vipers and snakes and hypocrites and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not telling you to sit by and allow people that are around you or in that your sphere to do wrong and let it go. You know, you should definitely warn people not to be listening to those type of people. But what I can tell you is, you got to be careful with your words. Okay, you got to be very careful with your words, because life and death is in the tongue, and you will eat the fruit of it. Okay, there is no and if, ands, or buts about it. Okay, in here we got the private membership again, unlocks more training, 8 hours of the Lama, per month, amazing things. 2 mastermind webinars that help people learn how to fish, learn how to make money, learn how to, make a living by living. They're all involved in this. Okay. And this is also a way that Master Lama, Rasaji, and myself are going to be putting together, soon, more of like a foundation. We're going to talk to the legal, but we're going to put it together because we're going to bring this Lamasery to North America. We are going to anchor this in, and all people will be welcome. Okay. 5G radiation, you need to know about that. Silver and gold. I mean, if you are not putting some silver in your pocket, you need to think about it. I'm not a financial advisor, so everything here will help you. Okay. All of this is good. Now let me open this up. And I got to refresh it because I'm doing it on a browser. So, when I do it on the browser, it's going to be a little bit thing. So you got your dashboard. This is the way it looks on a browser. Again, 100% free. We want to help you change for free. We want you to want more of the Lama. We want you to want to tithe and do and see this happening. But just go here, read these testimonials, folks. Okay, so you've seen that the navigation goes at the top, right? The pages look different because they're responsive, right? But read the testimonials. Read them. Spend 15 minutes. Pick out some. Read them. And then say to yourself, you know what? I want some of that. Or I don't want some of that. Okay? There is no point blocking you. There's no financial situation blocking you from the 45-day challenge. So embrace it, utilize it, and step into your power like you never have seen before. And if you want to move to the next level and you want to become a trainer and a teacher and a healer, then you get involved in the private membership and you move up the level of training, okay? Because we need thousands and then tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands of teachers, trainers, healers. We need teachers and healers. We need that. And Abba is on a mission to he will bring all the right people to us to make that happen. There's no if, there's no and, there's no but about it. So let's get into questions now, brothers and sisters. Go ahead and ask some questions. And let me bet you have for Master Lama Rasaji or myself. We're into this for an hour and 18 minutes now. So that's good. 118. And let people know 45-day challenge has done this. Make sure you put 45-day challenge in the comments has done this. I've been on the 45-day challenge for X amount of time. And this is my experience. 100% truthful. That's what we want. 100% truthful. Now, remember, I move my hands. I ain't doing no weird stuff like some of these crazy trolls are talking. I got some Italian in me, you understand? So I move my hands. That's the way I talk. So, the trolls can say what they want. The truth is the truth. And again, just because someone repeats a lie over and over again and again and again does not make it the truth. Okay. Well, okay. So what do we got here? Let's take a look. I'm on fire. I am on fire. Spirit is on fire. The Kundalini is on fire. The download's happening very, very rapidly, very quickly for me. I've never seen it in my entire life. And the people that shouldn't be involved in what we're doing, Abba's exposing them. Secrets that were kept from me to steal from Abba, to steal from the network, to do what was wrong are being exposed. And if those people don't do what's right, they will be exposed. And they can sit there and slander, but do they have the supporting documentation to prove, like I do? When I say something, I can give the supporting documentation to prove what I say is the truth. Okay. So you're going to be seeing the Patriot Lama. I mean, going to be calling out people this year about where are the fruits of your labor. You're sitting here talking about being in 5D. You're sitting here talking about all this stuff, but your behavior is anything but that. And where's the fruits of the labor that you promised the people that you were going to do when the journey started? Okay, so going to be a very interesting 2022. Anything else you want to say, Master Lama Rasaji, and then I'll scan for questions?
Well, we told people that the year of the water tiger was going to be really interested, and you're seeing it. And just remember, we're not full-fledged tiger. One of the reasons the Chinese don't celebrate New Year till February is because they want to get deeper into the tiger, the Chinese zodiac of that year, that character, the spirit of that animal. And that actually happens about the first week in March till about the first week in September. Those 6 months, you're going to see so much tiger energy. And the water's element that denotes movement, right? So moving, getting off our heinies this year, getting going. It's going to be a very interesting year, Patriot Jimmie.
It is going to be fired up. So let's go to the first question. I told you how excited I am because what's going to happen is all these false prophets are exposed. People are going to be in like disarray, and just come on home to Circle of Life. Come on to the Patriot Network. The Lama and the Patriot and the Lama, we're going to take care of you.
Amen.
We're going to comfort you. We're going to love on you. And we're going to give you the truth. And what we're offering you for free is more than what they're offering you for paid. Okay.
Amen.
So we're going to help you get to that level. We're going to help you get into that 5D and maintain as much as you can every single day. So is it normal to see colors when you do the mirror prayer?
Very normal. And it's just going to get better. It's a kaleidoscope of empowerment. And you have to understand, I remember, shortly after the passing of a loved one, and we had been with the family most of the day after that. And I was definitely having a little bit of a PTSD. And so the veil of consciousness was going back. I jumped into the bathtub and put candles all around the bathtub, got the water as hot as I could to bring back that rebirthing kind of feeling coming out of 98.6 of mommy's warm tummy. And I kept breathing. And I remember I was just feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And lo and behold, as I'm looking around, I see my energy body in all its glory, and it's the cosmos. And I'm seeing the most beautiful diamonds, the most beautiful emeralds, sapphires. I'm looking at the stars sparkle. I said, oh my God, our energy body resembles the Milky Way galaxy. And it's all around us. And I'm like,
Yes.
who in the world seeing this could not be in awe of Abba, Jimmie?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing how all this is tied together, right? My friend during meditation has case that he was face to face with dark blue face with diamond rainbow color. Any info about what happened or happened to him?
It's hard to say with just a silhouette, or what I like to call a Polaroid in time, right? It could be a lot of things. I mean, he could be seeing part of his higher self. He could be seeing an image of some time ago. Could have been part to identify who he was. There's half a dozen to a dozen things it could be. Now, the key of it is, if they saw this coming in and out of the dream state or in the dream state, tell them what you learned today. Tell your friend to keep a logbook. And
Yes.
I remember the first time the Lamasery, there you go. The first time the Lamasery really hit home with me, they infiltrated my dreams. The very year that I met the Lama, he came into my dreams. I'll never forget. He's in my dreams, and he has this big book, and he opens up the book in my dreams, and he looks at me, and he comes down and he pulls the book down, and he looks at me and he says, "Where's your book?" And I go, "What? Where's your book? I've been telling you in class to get a book." And I got a book. And it was really funny, right? Because think about it. In our country, 1976 was 200 years of our birth. And already being a spiritual patriot that I was, even as a teenager, patriotic music would just get my soul. I remember that, oh my God, he's wanting me to keep the book for the whole year. And I remember I had been sleeping on the floors like the Japanese and the Native American Indians, and I was experiencing that energy change. And then spirit was guiding me. This was very popular during the time of waterbeds, if you remember, in the 70s. So I got together with my martial artists. We got some 2x10s, and we created a frame for a waterbed. And that whole year, I slept on water. And I had my book by my nightstand. And water in itself not only denotes movement, but it denotes consciousness, expanding, right? So the things I wrote down that year were just amazing. But after that year, I was sold on having a book by my Tai Chi Gong practice, a book by my bed. Later, as I became more an active adult in the world, one day the flash came to me. I need to be taking a notepad or something with me, because the hologram of life is triggering things in the veil of my unconsciousness. Jimmie.
Yeah, I have to read this because you and I were having this conversation. We've had this conversation many times, and it's so true from one of our sisters out there. When you are spiritually grounded, you can anger people as well. I am an anger activator. I am I'm a mirror that sets people off. It hurts. Is this normal? It is 1000% normal. The Patriot will tell you. Now see what the Lama has to say.
Well, it's funny, but if you didn't hear the Daily Lama today, you need to hear today and tomorrow's Daily Lama. I actually talk about that. And what happens is you're anchoring God. See, people ask me a lot of times, why couldn't the angels do it all by themselves? Well, the angels are folding their arms like this today, and they're wondering what's taking the humans so long, because we've been doing for thousands and thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. The angels been in our atmosphere. You can't even imagine how old Archangel Michael is, who's a big buddy of both Jimmie and mine. And I got to tell you, you just have to know this is the way it is. And Jesus said, mothers would leave their fathers and sons would leave their mothers. Yes. and take up your cross and follow me.
Yes.
And the basics is the angels can't do it because the human body was developed for a 3D frequency as part of the experiment for purpose. And the very thing that Boganathar brought to reality is now becoming the reality for every human that's waking up on the planet, that God is God in every one of the dimensions, or he's not God. He's either God in every one of the dimension or he's not. And he's not going to leave his kids hanging. He's just not going to do that. He's not an absentee God. He's a very omnipresent God. And so you become a crystal mirror like you can't believe. And the two extremes begin. Remember how Jimmie said earlier in the broadcast today, forget about the gray, it's over with. You got to choose sides. Well, see what is happening. You're becoming more light and energy like Abba. He's activating your DNA in the 45-day challenge. And people are choosing the sides for you. Try. I know it's difficult, especially when it's somebody you really care about, or you have emotional, what I call almost like taffy glue kind of connection. You got to have to learn a little detachment. They call that viragi in Sanskrit. Learn a little viragi. And you have to know that just what's going on is not always permanent either. Sometimes they'll get angry to see you in a new light, right? Well, I've got it going on in my own family right now. I put my shoes on just like everybody else. I put my pants on like everybody else. My own wife sees it. We talk about it. It's going on in my own family right now where my brother's becoming a household name. What is going on, And I just can't even begin to give you the ramifications of that. And people all the time trying to hook up with me on social media. Guys, by now you probably figured out I don't have time for all that. I mean, I love everybody, but when you got an email that went from 0 to about 10,000 people in 10 months and where we're going, you got to understand that this is why I do the Daily Lama every day. This is why we do the Patriot and the Lama every week. This is why we give of ourselves 8 hours every month. Not only that, I'm in the process of creating an extra 2 hours seminars for our members that don't even exist right now, called the Roots of City Yoga, to share with you where all the masters came from and how they all were joined together and how the dark side's been trying to separate us for 174,000 years. Jimmie.
And we're going to be redoing the seminars. We wanted to start in January. We might end up starting in February now, where we're going to go through the circle of life. And Master Lama Rasaji will be teaching on every chapter for our private membership. So he'll literally be teaching on every single chapter of the circle of life. So if you want to get some of that, get involved. And again, go do your column exercises. Look at where you're sowing your seed right now and start moving it to good things that serve you, things that will improve your life and make you better. Get rid of the other stuff. I'm doing it. I put my pants on, usually my shorts on, like everyone else does. And my wife and I are doing it. We're human beings. We have people in our family going through all kinds of stuff. Listen, we have a question here, and I want to answer a question about, are you rescheduling any events for 2022? Right now, we're not going to have any physical events. We're going to have online events and all that until this whole thing is over. Okay, we set that other one up, and then we had these restrictions 5 thing. No one was going to come. And then, we just want to make sure that all of this stuff is behind us. And then, yes, we probably are going to be having, events in the future, but it's going to be more for the people that are going into the teachership, the healing and to be the teachers, right? We have Zoom, we have StreamYard. We can get out to people online. It's really, really working well. Again, go read the testimonials, go look at the comments on the Master, the Patriot and the Lama show and the Daily Lama. They're right there for you to see. Go look at them. And we're going to come up with something, we'll let you know when, but not right now because there's too much stuff going on. There's a lot of planning, a lot of work, a lot of money that needs to go into those type of events. So that hopefully that answers your question. Another one because I want to get to the bottom because we're we're here an hour and a half. And again, we love you all. We got a lot of stuff going on, but and this is something that I personally have an experience with myself because my wife did not start the 45-day challenge when I did. Okay, but yet now she's into 20 days, 31 days. That's 51 days and 13 days. So we're into 65 days.
Wow.
And I've seen a massive improvement in everything.
Right.
Okay. And of course, it's how, this cycle's hitting her. It's a double, right. I got to tell you, even with some of the things that are being revealed to me right now that are totally unethical, totally unprofessional, totally on the dark side of the equation, they've hit me a little bit. Right. Master Lama Rasaji, no matter what I come at him with, whatever situation's going on, I need the patience of the Lama. We all need the patience of the Lama. But what I'm going to say to this question, how do I get my husband to want to do the Tai Chi Gong with me? You just keep doing it. Been doing it since July and love it. You just keep doing it and they will see the change in you. And they will want that change if it's meant to be. You cannot take even your husband or your wife's journey through life. You must allow them to do their own journey, but you must be obedient 1,000,000, billion, trillion, quadrillion % to the Heavenly Father, to the creator of all things. You must be obedient. You must have that relationship. He is spirit, the Christ, whatever you call the second entity of creation or the third entity. I mean, Master Lama Asajji said, the third entity after the spirit. I trust Master Lama Asajji. I'm just going to tell you my understanding, my comparison of my intelligence, which I think I'm a pretty intelligent person. I know I am. But to Abba, I'm a grain of sand in all the beaches of the world. Okay? And that's what we all are. So whether it was the Christ was the second entity or the third, I don't care. Okay. Yes. All I know is I'm building my relationship with them. I'm striving every day to fulfill the purpose and will and the destiny I was put on here. I'm not perfect. Master Lama Asajji is not perfect. I put my shorts on like everybody else on. He puts his pants on like everybody else. But we're here to hopefully give you value and help you move through your journey in life, right? So Amen. Don't worry about other people. Give it to Abba. Give it to the Creator. He's got it covered. I mean, he's got it covered. There is no ifs and buts about it. Master Lama Asajji, I'd love to sit here all day long and answer the questions with you, with these beautiful brothers and sisters. But I want to go ahead now and close this up with a blessing and prayer for all our brothers and sisters here.
Absolutely, Patriot Jimmie. Dear Abba, we are thankful for how you come to us in your light and in your love. We are thankful for this energy through Tai Chi Gong and the circle of light you are sharing with us, which we actually know is the physical manifestation of your unconditional love, that you have designed a system that will wake people up so quickly. And within minutes, they're knowing that you are present and that you're always with them. You're always guiding them. You're always the pillar of their strength. We are thankful that they are embracing the balance of their spirit, mind, and body, and understanding that you, Abba, are in total control, still on the throne, and that everything you do for the will and the goodness of humanity, the family that you created and bestowed us upon. You're guiding our hearts. You're teaching us to be healers of healers and teachers of teachers. And when it comes to business, to be as smart as snakes. Teach us, Abba, to do more for you and to guide people to you and let them know there's no mediator between them and you. There is only you, and that they came to do your purpose and they came to do your will. And in all your glory and oneness of everything in creation, we are devoted to you, and we give all praise and glory to you. Amen.
Amen. We love you all. Hope you enjoyed episode 36 of the Patriot Lama Show. We will see you next Thursday. Any of you in the private membership, we will see you tomorrow for the 2-hour training. Again, love you all. God bless and have a wonderful and blessed day.
Thank you.